Hi guys, welcome to the UX course, and now we are going to discuss and learn about module 1 chapter 3, which is design thinking. It is one of the most critical factor of design. Like, a lot of people struggle with design thinking. They know the tool, they know how it works, but design thinking, where when it comes to design thinking, a lot of people struggle. So let's go into that. Before we dive into design thinking, let's first do a recap of what we learned so far. So we learned UI vs UX, and we also learned about um, the value of UX in product and product design, and what are all the products. So let's do a recap of product design. So product design, when you are doing a UX for product design, it is very important that you see the value of UX in terms of complete strategy, end-to-end strategy. Like we discussed about how Amazon and what you call Amazon and Big Basket, they work. So Big Basket delivers within 10 minutes, and Amazon delivers, let's say, in a day or two. And Big Basket chooses the local vendors, and Amazon chooses vendors from all over India and long distance places. So Big Baskets surpasses the delivery time. That is why it is gaining a lot of momentum, and it is getting a lot of loyal customers, wherein Amazon has a loyal customer base, but it depends on what you are ordering. But in terms of mobile application, I would say Big Basket is really doing something good and adding value for their customers, and making things really wonderful for their customer by doing a complete UX. We also understood the vital role of UI UX in modern product processes, how you can understand, take feedback, and create a problem statement, create a document, and then you can really design a good product. And we also discussed about how investing early in UX design for a product is very important when you are starting this business, because if you have a strategy and if your product is really good from the beginning, it really adds value, it generates more revenue, and it attracts more user, and it also makes your user loyal, and the retention is very good when you do an early investment. Uh, so that's about why UX design for product is very important, and you should also always concentrate on end-to-end cycle, not just the design, but UX is all about complete experience from beginning to end. Also, like the delivery time we talked about, also the slot we talked about, how Big Basket changes, and it gives you that option to choose a slot. Let's say you're not at home all day long, but you can choose a slot for delivery, and you can ask Big Basket to deliver you within a certain period of time, let's say in the evening duration, or even in the morning duration, or on the weekend. So it works according to you. So that is one of the best thing I liked about Big Basket and all these other applications we talked about. We also talked about Airbnb and Oyo. We differentiated their base. uh, Airbnb has a lot of loyal customers, and it gives a very luxury experience. There is very less cancellation, but in terms of Oyo, there is a lot of, sometimes a lot of cancellation, and that really removes the loyal customers from Oyo. But in Airbnb, you would see the customer base is always good and loyal. Now, let's go and deep dive into design thinking. So now we are discussing design thinking. What is design thinking? Design thinking is something before you start the project, before you start jump into any software like Figma, Illustrator, or any software which is for design, you visualize, you think about it, you plan about it. You don't directly jump into it, but you jump with a strategy, with a plan. So for design thinking, I have a very practical approach. I have a very practical 5-step approach I take whenever I start working on a project. Even for a smaller project, I do this, not just for the bigger project or a larger project. So let's go ahead and see what this means. So the first step I always take uh, in my design process is empathize. What do I mean by empathize? Is understand the project, the client, the history, the future, and strategy behind it. Why do they want to develop an application like this? And who is their customer? Who is their target audience? Is it male? Is it female? What is the age of that specific group they're targeting uh, while building this application? I observe, do my research. I see some real users who are already using this application. I conduct interviews mainly with clients and their users. And let's say if there are other applications, I go there and conduct interviews, ask them questions about what kind of applications they like, what is their favorite application when it comes to the similar industry or similar field, and I capture the pain points, motivation towards using the application, and also the behavior. And that helps me create a problem statement, and also it helps me understand the product and the business better. And then I go into define. What is define? When I start to define, I create a solution statement wherein I have already understood the project. I gather all my research at one place, and I have already identified all the user needs and insights of it, and then I write a focused solution. I document a focused solution, that what could be the best application with the feature and everything I can design for this client or design for this organization, which can help them not just grow the revenue and but to sustain for a long time, and also grow their user, grow loyal users for them. Okay, so that's where I write all the solutions I have thought about, and this really helps me in terms of creating all the functionalities, all the BRD, business requirement documents as well. And it also, when you're ideating, you can also create user flows with it, which can help you understand where the user is going to start the project, and start the application, and what would be the end point of that specific application. Then comes to the actual design. I don't directly jump into the actual design. I take my time. I let's say I think this is one of the most critical part when it comes to design, is that where do you start? How do you start? You understood the problem statement. You understood the documentation, and you thought of a solution, but how is this solution going to help the client? What kind of an application would you design which can really help them out, really be an amazing application, and which will sustain for a very long time? So ideate and visualize. Visualization has a lot of parameters, but most important are, um, you can begin with let's say typography, and what would be the typography, what would be the color palette you would choose, what kind of layout it would look like. You can go into so many different directions. And how do you start that? You cannot just sit in front of computer and start visualizing, start ideating. What you need to do is you need to go out, you need to take a walk, you need to think, you need to spend time with yourself, keeping the product in mind, that I'm building this product, and these are the ideas which are supposed to come into my mind, and that will help me design better and get into get into a zone wherein I could really uh, come up with an idea which can be really amazing or really beautiful, not just in terms of visual element, but also in terms of complete end-to-end user experience when you are designing this product. So you could also do this by comparing to other applications, but you can do that while doing the UX research, which is on Empathize. But after you have done all of that, your mind has already captured those images from the UX research you have done of those other applications. But now you need to build this new layout and new application. Now you need to rethink everything, because if you keep looking at the screen or design which is already done for someone else and which is of someone else, you would not just take inspiration, but you might start designing something similar to it. And that is what you have to stay away from, because you have to design something new. You have to design a new solution which can really be impactful, not just in terms of user experience, but in terms of solution. So that's why I like to take a walk, a design walk, I say, wherein I could walk around a green area, and I could really think about what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I can take a nap. Sometimes ideas can come while you are while your eyes are closed, while you are meditating, while you are taking a walk, while you're taking a shower. The real step is to get outside of this specific zone you have, which is in front of the computer, and you need to go outside. You need to stay away from the technical tools, but you need to get into the visual tools of your mind, which can help you really design better. I wanted to drag it out because this is such an important topic a lot of designers struggle with. And then once you have those all the pictures within your mind, you cannot keep these pictures within your mind just itself. You need to bring them somewhere, all the visual aspect. I start designing, not designing, but I start creating a sketch. I can do it on paper. The best solution is to do it on the first layout or design. You should do it on paper, because while you draw on a paper, you get more ideas and you get more clarity, while you get into the depth of the of the product, and which can really help you do a better job, not just like a designer, but you could think like you are the product owner. You can create a very simple models of wireframe, which is like just a normal sketch. I have an example of a map I was working on, and I created the store, where it should be, where should be the mall, where should be ground park. It's like you are an architect of that specific product, and you can outline things like where your GPS tracking should be and what all should be part of this. And before you design any page, or any page, like you're jumping into any page or any functionalities, you can take this step again and again to design the wireframe first. Sketch the wireframe first. After you have done that sketch, you can also do it on other tools like FigJam, Miro. There are various tools, but I prefer to do it on paper. I always have white paper besides me, which can really help me and engage me to create these beautiful wireframes, which at the end help me create better user experience for the product and for the client. And it really gives you that focus to design better. Okay, learn from real feedback. You have done the wireframe, so I have done this multiple times. I do the wireframe. I don't directly show the design to client. I first do the wireframe, I first do the sketch. And the first step once you do this sketch is to discuss within your team, discuss within your peers, understand their feedback, take their feedback, and then reiterate, redo the wireframe and make those changes as well. And then you go to the client, and then you discuss this with client that this is what you're thinking about. Why I do this? Because doing a wireframe takes, maybe let's say, a wireframe design or wireframe sketch takes, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes, while visualizing takes more time. But wireframe sketch takes, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or an hour. But if we start to directly jump onto the computer and start designing a low fidelity, it might take 4 hours, a day, or 2 days. But here is what adds value: when you do these quick wireframes and you do this quick ideation, your clients love you, because you are not wasting their time. You are actually saving time, and when you save time, you also save cost for the client. And they'll give you the feedback. And once you have the feedback sorted from your sketches, it's very easy, because your feedback is sorted from the wireframes and sketches. Your design approvals is becomes negligible, and it gets approved so fast. It is almost unbelievable that designs are getting approved very faster, because they have already seen the wireframe. They have already visualized that how the design is going to be, and how it will come out as the best output. Really, it becomes very simpler, because after you have done this, you have to just colorize it, you have to do interaction with it, you have to come up with a better typography, you have to use the brand guidelines and everything. But this is the most important aspect of design, wherein you ideate, you visualize first. That removes the hurdle of going back to back to your client for approval, because client would not know that what you are exactly trying to present when you directly go with the a lot more visual element. But if you go with plain white variant, which is just a wireframe, they love it, they love your idea, and it will help you move closer to doing a better design work. Okay, so next, what we are going to do after we have after we have done the visualization and the the understanding of UI and UX, and also we understood the importance in product design for a UX. We are going to do a case study of a real application. I would love to do any application, but I would start with an application, a consumer application for a bike, Yamaha bike. I used to use this application a lot, and uh, I found this very interesting, that if your bike, what you should be able to control, what you should be able to see, what you should not be able to see, what should be hidden, what should be on top priority for you to see, like seeing how much fuel I have left and where my bike is parked. And if you can see where your bike is parked or was parked, you could easily find that parking spot again and again, and this could help you uh, save a lot of time. And this could also help you with theft protection, if you know where your bike was parked. And if you can see your fuel consumption, you can always be sure that you put in the fuel before it's getting dried up. And also for the servicing, like if you know how many kilometers within your mobile and it gets a notification that this much it has run, you should go for the service. This helps you protect you and also serve you better, for anything which will come into future. So let's do that case study as soon as we can. And thank you for watching this, and see you in the next chapter.